Hello, this is Tom, aka Gedeon here for Tabletop Tap Room. Today we're looking at a product that I feel like can empower game masters, because there's been a little bit of a trend in the hobby lately where game masters are being de-emphasized, disempowered, and shunted to the side. And I'm not down with that. So I thought, let's bring out a product for the game masters. And I think this is a good one. But before we really dig into it, let me just say thanks for watching the video. Thanks to my subscribers. You guys are great. And don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and bell icon. So today we're looking at Teratogenicon. This is, I got the PDF, and might as well just do a share screen. What's really interesting is the cover on the PDF and the pre-OD is different. There's a little extra subtitle here. And maybe there was an update to it since I bought it. So I guess I have the older cover here. Yeah. And this is written by Eric Diaz, and the artwork and there's some cool artwork in here. Artwork is by Rick Troula. So the cover's full color and really cool. It's the kind of cover I like. Very reminiscent of AD&D artwork where player characters are encountering a monster and the monster's either attacking them, biting them, eating them. A lot of that old school AD&D artwork does have player characters not faring well against the monsters. And there's just something about that. I really, really like that style. And you get that with this cover. This is almost Cthulhu-esque. I mean, in fact, it looks like the player characters are running away, although this thing could be sneaking up on them. I mean, it doesn't really look like they're running. That's not a running gait. It's more of a kind of stealthy, but apparently this creature is sneaking up on them. So it's a cool cover, and it's colored. Now, throughout the book, it's you're going to see black and white. Let's jump right to page 7. And this is kind of the style that you're going to get, and it's just really cool. This is a book of tables that is designed to help you get out of the rut with creatures and monsters. And what was it that it said here? It said that it was a book for generating creatures for all RPGs. And I said, all right, challenge accepted. Now, and when I say challenge accepted, I'm going to say, okay, it's very obviously that this is kind of directed at your D&D, your OSR, your OSE, your BX1E type of games, and their associated clones, retro clones, inspired rule sets, 5e. And it's really kind of targeted at the players of those games. But I said, all right, if this is supposed to be for all RPGs, which it bills itself because it's system neutral, we're going to put it to the test with an old school, not D20, an old school D100 system. And you can probably guess which system that is. It's a sci-fi D100 old school system. And we will try this out with that. But before we get to that, we're going to work through 2 ways of using this book and demonstrate it. I've prepared a worksheet. The way you would use this book, let's get through the intro. Oh, yeah, look at that artwork. Another great fiend looking thing. Some great artwork here. Just absolutely some great stuff. Aberrations. Let's skip aberrations. Beast. Now, Beast is cool because they have this table that gives you a lot of possibilities. So you're rolling D20 down one column and D6 across the top, and you matrix that and come up with, something like a peacock. And then you're doing all these other rules which build and modify that. So we create a lot of Beast in Star Frontiers over the years. I don't want to create a new beast. But you roll on these tables. You don't necessarily have to roll on all of them. Like, for example, in the undead chapter, you have the second table is for the if it's a bodiless undead, and you're rolling on that if it's a bodiless undead. The next table is if it's got a physical body, and you're rolling on that. So obviously, you're probably not going to roll on both, although you could, and I did on the worksheet that we're going to look at in a minute. But you don't have to be a slave to this, and it's not like, oh, step 1, step 2, step 3, do them in this order, don't skip no. You have creative license. Now I'm going to work through these tables in 3 of these chapters and slavishly follow the results. And I say slavishly, not completely slavishly, because a couple of times there were some really oddball things that I was like, no, redo that. And I think if things don't make any sense, or you're not feeling the result for this creature as it's been developing in your mind as you're going, change the result. So let's go to page 47. Humanoids. Now the artwork here, it's a humanoid rhino man guy, and this is the trend going on right now in 5e. It's anthropomorphic animals left and right. Every time you turn around, the new player character species is this kind of thing. And so the tables in here do cater to that a little bit. But let's go to here's my worksheet that I did. And so what I did was I just wrote down, I made a table, put all the dice that I had to roll and what the table's name was. And then I'm going to put in my results here. Now I'm creating a humanoid. So there's 2 ways you can use this book. You can use it to create a new creature, or to take an existing creature and reskin them. And I actually think the second is the more fun and interesting thing to do. But let's do the creating a whole new humanoid. Don't even have a name for it yet. So on the first table was appearance, and I rolled an 11 and got hard skin. I thought, all right. And I was thinking like hard, crusty plates kind of thing. Just what I was thinking. I was like, all right, I can live with that. I can work with that. And I'm thinking in terms of a fantasy game here. So then next was animal features, and you roll to see what part of the creature has an animal feature. Now this might not work for you, but it totally works for like if you're doing a gnoll or a bugbear. So if you were trying to recreate a gnoll or a bugbear from these tables, then the head is going to look like a hyena, the head, so on and so forth. Here I rolled a 6 and I got arms, and I started thinking, all right, arms, like gorilla arms, long, hanging down past the waist, almost to the knees or to the knees. So I got, and hard skin. I don't know what this creature is going to be yet, but then we rolled construct. No idea what to do with that. So we'll just roll, let it ride. We'll see what happens. And then I got speak, rolled 16 on special power, and it was speak with animals. And I'm thinking, oh, kind of like a druid. So this is some kind of a humanoid that speaks with animals. He's got the long arms. So all of a sudden, when I got to this point, not that I think of Sasquatch in this way, I started getting a Sasquatch in my brain. Long arms, and instead of hard skin, thick skin. So he's going to have a higher armor class because he's got incredibly tough skin. So we're going to bump him up to one of those nice, like rigid leather armor classes, something along those lines. Creation myth. So we then rolled for creation myth. I got 4 spontaneous birth. So the Earth Mother has just spontaneously birthed him, just into existence. And so and he speaks with animals, and the Earth Mother has just spontaneously birthed him. So he just comes into existence per the wishes of Mother Nature, of neutrality, of whatever powers behind Druidism in D&D. And I'm like, oh, okay, but what? Then at that point, I thought, got to stop calling him Sasquatch, because when I say Sasquatch and you hear it, there is a body of material that people associate with the word Sasquatch. So we're going to call him a Wasquatch, woods watcher, Wasquatch. So we're just, because that just cues us in. This guy's different. He's not quite a Sasquatch, but he kind of looks like it. So personality was the next role, and I got 15, silent. I thought, all right, that works. He's silent, moves silently, doesn't say much. You can talk to him. He's concerned with nature and overseeing nature. We then went to his appearance and hairy, and I was like, yep, looking like Sasquatch to me. And then we got, for distinction, was 14, that he's a dwindling race. They're on the verge of extinction. There's few and fewer born. Well, that kind of fits with that spontaneous birth, that Mother Nature calls for these guys when she feels the need to help put an area of nature back into balance. That's they are a friend to druids. Maybe that maybe they actually do function like a druid, maybe like a 3rd level druid or 4th level druid or something along those lines. Maybe the females act as a druid, and the males be more of a ranger type warrior. So you could apply some of those overlays onto this creature. And looks like Sasquatch. He's got a thick skin. He's hairy, long arms that go down to his knees, very gorilla-like. Construct. I still got nothing for construct, so I'm just going to ignore it. Going to drop that. But technically, you could say it's a construct of Mother Earth. She spontaneously births him, so it still hangs together with it. But I really have nothing for this construct result. And largely, you can ignore that. And I like this. This is an interesting creature. And the player characters, you're going to describe him to the players, and they're going to think, ooh, Sasquatch. But then he's got weird powers and abilities. And when they observe those things, they're going to go, this is not your father's Sasquatch. And so, not necessarily something that might oppose the players, something that might not, something that might be negotiated. You might be able to negotiate with it. And it might be helpful to have a druid in the party. So that was my humanoids, and I gave them a name of Wasquatch as a working title. May not even stick with that. And all I've got to do now is go to the monster manual and find a set of suitable stats to base him off of. There's also a chapter I haven't read yet, an appendix in here about statting up creatures. So that might have some guidance as well. But then I went to the undead chapter, I thought. So we created a whole new humanoid, the Wasquatch, and now we're going to take a classic D&D monster and reskin him with these tables. And I thought, what better than the most boring creature of all, skeletons? We've all faced them, and it's all ho-hum, oh, I'm so tired of skeletons. But we like to use them. They're a nice low-level creature. It can present a challenge for the cleric because he can turn them. And you have to use them at low level. You can't use them any other time. So I thought, we're going to take skeletons and we're going to start rolling on this table, and we're going to reskin, reshade, recolor, redo the skeleton based off of this. Now, the old school skeletons might still exist in the setting, but I'm going to do a whole new skeleton based off. I just want to reskin the classic skeleton, and we're going to use the tables to do it. So the first table you roll on is clothing. What clothing does it? Is it naked? Is it wear clothing? Is it rags, ripped and torn? I rolled old fashioned. I think that was the result that they were thinking of in terms of, Vlad, Ravenloft, that kind of thing. So I don't know what to do with that, especially for skeletons. It doesn't seem like skeletons should wear clothing. They could, but but we're going to let it ride. We got the result. We let it ride. We'll see where things take us. So next, for bodiless, I went ahead, even though skeletons have a body, I thought, let's just roll on the table, see what we get for a result. Maybe we'll work it in. Maybe we'll totally disregard it. But we just wanted to go through. So I got Dark Shadow. And I thought, I could possibly work with this. That's, they're, undead. I've seen undead where you've had like a flaming skull. And that's been done. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have like smoke or darkness coming off of the undead? So that's a skeleton, but coming out of him, oozing out of him, is darkness that kind of from the distance just, it's like smoke's coming out of him. When you get up close, it's like you realize it's different. It's the energy from the negative material plane in the larger cosmos, so the planes in Dungeons and Dragons. So I thought, all right, so somehow this skeleton has a connection to the negative material plane, and so you see that effect in these, you can tell he's a skeleton, but it's like smoke and darkness is rolling off of him. And I thought, now that's cool. That's cool. And it's different. And this skeleton's different. So then we rolled for body, and I actually rolled 13 and got boneless. And I said, oh, no. And that could certainly work. Maybe he's boneless, but he looks like a skeleton, and the skeleton's made up of dark energy. Okay. So that could be cool. That could certainly be cool. But looking at the table, the next result was 14. I didn't roll a second time. I just said, my mind, when I roll one of these results, and I'm really forcing myself to stay to the results, if the result makes no sense to me, I take one result below or one result above. I don't just go re-rolling. And so I saw that 14 was skeletal, and I wrote 14 down because I'm thinking classic skeleton here. And then there's a D20. You're rolling for the head. And I rolled number 10, fangs. And I thought, fangs. Because you think that these skeletons are possibly going to be the skeletons of humanoids in this world. But these skeletons are going to have fangs. And I was looking, and I wasn't sure about that, but I saw number 2 was glowing eyes, and I thought, yeah, I like glowing eyes with this darkness ethic that we got going. So I wrote glowing eyes down just because I can. And I said, all right, we'll let the fangs ride. And the additional features, we rolled on additional features and got result 16, which was horns. This is okay. He's kind of looking a little demonic here. And maybe that's just the magic of this power from the negative energy plane affecting him. So I kind of like the horns. And once we get horns, and I'm okay with horns, I kind of like the fangs at that point too. So I'm kind of feeling like it's okay to leave. But again, we're letting everything ride. Then you had to roll for a animal to be associated with the undead. Like when I say Dracula, what do you think? You think bats, okay, or wolves. That would be a, classic vampires would be a roll 2 results. You rolled a 20 and it says roll 2 results, and you got bats and wolves. So I rolled on here and I got Vulture. Have no idea what to do with it, but I put it there, let the result ride. So then the attack, the D12, you're rolling a D12 for attack. I rolled an 8 and I got Dark Aura, and I thought, oh yeah, this is intersecting with that Dark Shadow result up there for bodiless. And this power, this connection to the negative energy plane. And I thought, yeah, Dark Aura. I'm liking where this is going just on these random die results. And so then the effect was Frightened. And I thought, yeah, all right, I can work with that. That when it attacks, maybe there is a physical attack, because it does have. I'm leaning towards the physical body, the skeletal body. But when it hits you, it puts a Dark Aura on you, and you've got this Frightened effect. Now, and this could be as simple as you have this Frightened effect, so you're -2 to all actions. And if you save, it's half. So if you save, it's just -1. I don't like the all or nothing saves. Star Frontiers has a lot of save for half. There's some effects that it's save for no effect, but I do like the save for half. So you make sure the penalty is bad, but if you pass the save, it's half that. And I like that. And so I was like, yeah, Frightened. -4 to all activities if he's put this Dark Aura on you from his attack. And I thought, yeah, that's good. That works for me. So then we're rolling for Drain. There's a whole table just for Drain. I got a 12, roll twice. And then I rolled 1. Levels are EXP, just like some classic D&D Undead. I thought, oh, all right. And then I rolled 6, which was luck. But then I was looking at it, I'm thinking, I don't know what to do with luck, that it drains your luck. It's not a classic 1E BX kind of thing. So right next to luck was result number 5, Youth. So I thought, yeah, we'll write that in there, and we'll probably not. So a successful attack drains a level drains a level or a certain amount of EXP. Wasn't sure which. I just wrote both to see where this goes. But the more and more I thought on this, I kind of was like, yeah, I'm kind of liking the level drain. The players, it'll come as a rude shock to the players. And I like that. I like rude shocks. And so I thought, yeah, they should be on notice. This thing is different. This thing behaves differently. So not only do you lose a level, but it drains 5 years of your life. It ages you 5 years. I thought, yeah, that works. Kind of cool. Special power. So we roll 19, immunity. Well, skeletons are susceptible to fire in most versions of D&D. Well, except for the flaming skull heads. Probably aren't. But so immunity, it's got some sort of immunity. And I thought, the connection to the negative energy plane just means you got to have magic weapons. Maybe silver's okay, but you got to have magic weapons to affect it. You got to have magic spells, magic weapons. Probably silver weapons would be okay. Throw in there, but that's it. So it's got some form of immunity. And I was like, yeah, that works. I like that. Goals. Now, this is the genius thing in here. When you see a creature's got goals, what is its goals? And I rolled a 4 and I got obsession. And I was like, I don't like that. And I kept reading the other results. And I was like, it obsesses about a person, place, or thing. And I thought, all right, I got an idea here that these have been summoned to this evil temple and their guards, and they obsess about objects in the temple. And so when the players go in to the temple and they recover treasure, magic items, money, coins, very Pirates of the Caribbean, where the pirates took the coins and then they had the curse. This thing obsesses about that. And so it goes in pursuit of those items to find them and bring them back to the temple. And I was like, all right, so now this is forcing me to write a whole location. It's starting to force me to write an adventure. Very cool. And I'm just getting this out of random tables. So, all right, the goal is obsession. It's going to obsess about a person, place, or thing. And then origin. 6, I rolled a 6. I got infected by other undead. So if it kills you, you become one of these things, which is classic undead in D&D. You know, when a white kills you, you become a white. You could become a vampire, lycanthrope. You can get lycanthropy, you become a werewolf too. So it's very much what we've seen before, but it's packaged differently, and it makes this skeleton kind of scary. You need to be careful facing this, but the players aren't going to realize that all of these things are in this package because we're totally reskinning this bad boy. The last one was I rolled distinctions. I rolled a 9. I got pets, mounts, or allies, and I could really go with that. But I just wanted to wrap this guy up on this worksheet. I thought, and it could intersect with the vultures, but I couldn't think of why would vultures have a connection to the negative material plane, the negative energy plane. And I thought, we're going to re-roll it because this result doesn't work for me. I just want to finish this guy up, and if I've got to do a pet or a mount, I've got to create that creature. Okay. So I rolled again. I got 2, and it's relentless. It rises again after death and must be destroyed by specific means. And I thought, now we're playing with fire. Now we're playing with dark magical energy. And I like this. So the players kill this thing. It comes after them. It kills them. And they kill it, and then it rises up. It comes after them again. Well, that's kind of scary, especially when they've just used up all their spells and silver arrows. They're probably only packing 5 silver arrows. That's a classic of AD&D or BX. That you get 5 silver arrows. So you've used them, and then this thing rises up, and you're like, "Oh man, run away!" I love that idea, and I thought. One thing I was brainstorming on, I thought, all right, so what are its hit dice? Do we make it 1 hit dice like the classic skeleton? Or do we make him a little beefier, 3 hit dice or 4? And so I was debating that because at 1 hit dice, easy to kill. 3 hit dice, he's a bigger challenge. And I got thinking about it. It says, you know what? When he's first summoned from the negative plane by the evil priest, he's 1 hit dice. And after you kill him and he resurrects, he comes back, reanimates, he comes back as 2 hit dice. And then you kill him, you destroy him again, but he comes back as 3 hit dice. So you have this relentless Terminator that just keeps coming for you. And, the players are like, oh my God, this becomes a problem. You've got to figure out the secret special sauce for how to destroy him. And I was, all right, so what's the specific means for destroying him? And I thought, all right, you got to crack open the skull and pour holy water in, and then cast like a bless spell, cast any number of cleric spells, bless, light, cure light wounds even. Any number of cleric spells, you cast it, and it breaks the power of this thing coming back because now the light has cleansed it. The blessing of your God has cleansed it. And so the negative energy is banished back to the negative energy plane. And so this thing he'll keep coming back and going up 1 hit dice each time. And I'm not telling the players, oh, well, you faced it. It was a 1. It was easy to kill, but no, it took a little longer. they need to figure that out. It's got a few more hit points. It took you a little longer to destroy it. I'm just not going to tell them how many hit points each one has. It's just going to keep coming back, and they're going to realize we got a problem. This thing keeps coming back. It's obsessing about us, or maybe it's obsessing about an object we're taking. But, players might get smart and go, hey, that coin we took? Let's sell it to the money lenders here in the town. Let the skeleton go after them. But if they do that, then they could be in trouble with the town. So I don't know what to call this skeleton. The dark aura skeleton. I don't know. But I do like what we're getting here. And as far as putting stats to these, I really feel like any competent or even half competent game master should be able to take the stat blocks that exist for their version of whatever game they're playing and begin to stat out a creature and start adding in, all right, here's how this frightened effect would work. And so they start applying values in a stat block to it. So that was the Dark Aura skeleton, the reskin of an existing into something completely new to throw the players off. And boy, oh boy, I think that bad boy will throw the players off. Now, the last worksheet was, let's say, challenge accepted. This is supposed to be for all role-playing games. All right, I got a D100, completely different. It's D100, old school, sci-fi. Let's go. And I think oozes would be tough. And so I chose oozes. But as I thought about it, I said, wait a minute. Star Frontiers has the mutating fungus. It's got the hull raker. But let's go with this. So we went to the oozes chapter, and you roll D8 for format, and I got ovoid and upright. And man, that looks like an egg. So my working title name, as soon as I got to this point, my working title name became Egg of Cook. And that's because Zeb Cook helped write Star Frontiers. All right, so Cook. But in OD&D, you had the Egg of Coot that was in the OD&D materials, the Egg of Coot. And so I mixed the two, and my working title for this is now Egg of Cook. It's not going to be the final name, but that's just a working title name that I had fun with. So we then rolled 4 colors, D20 on the color table, black and oil-like. And I thought, all right, wasn't what I was thinking. I was thinking like eggs. I was thinking white. And this forced me into a different direction. I can go with this. Then we rolled for undigested. I got coins. Coins doesn't work so much in Star Frontiers, but we'll let it ride. And it might just be random other equipment like an Everflame lighter. I don't know. But we'll just let that result ride. The next we rolled for attack, and I rolled a 6 for roll twice. I got number 1 was touch, number 2 was slam. I didn't really like slam so much because I'm thinking of this egg that is not very mobile. It's just kind of. So I then rolled again and got fumes. And I thought, yes, I like this effect. When you get within a certain range, you're breathing fumes and it has an effect upon you. I said, this could work. So then we went to a D10. The effect was charmed. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with that. But we wrote it down. We said, let's see. Then the energy drain, energy damage. I rolled D6 again. Got a 6 for roll twice. I rolled a 4 for psychic, and then I rolled 6, a 6, and a 4, and I was like, nope. Eventually rolled a 2 and got lighting. but I think I'm mostly gonna probably just drop this other. I don't know what to do with lighting, but I wrote it, see where it goes. So then special powers, rolled on this table, got charmed again. The dice are decreeing charmed somehow, which is not an effect you normally have in Star Frontiers. But we'll see where it goes. Goals. Reproduction. I rolled a 2 for reproduction. I must grow so I can split. All right. So the whole goal of this ovoid, oily egg thing is to grow to the point where it can then reproduce. All right. I'm cool with that. Cool with that. It's giving me something. It's origin D6. I love that a lot of these critters, a lot of these chapters have origin tables. This one, rolled a 3, primordial soup. How would we know? Nobody was there to record it, and this thing is certainly not talking. But let it ride. So, and then distinction. The distinction table, number 6 was possession. Insert a part of itself into the brain of those it kills to create a zombie. All right. Well, this whole possession thing kind of dovetails with the charm. So I'm kind of like, all right, I got something here. I got something going. So then I looked up, I Googled what part of the brain is the center of willpower. It's the center of decision making. And I Googled that, and I got this result about the prefrontal cortex. Willpower activates your prefrontal cortex, which is part of the brain, part of your brain near your forehead. It's part of your brain that plays a significant role in making decisions, especially when it comes to your inhibition. And I thought, all right, here we go. The fumes affect your prefrontal cortex in humans, or just wherever your decision-making part of your brain, your willpower center is. And so you've got to make a saving throw, or just kind of be like in a daze, unable to exercise any will or make any decision. And I said, that's a charmed effect. All right, we can roll with this. We've got something now. So it has fumes that emanate from it to a certain diameter, and it has this effect, but it also has this psychic attack. So I then worked up, so here's my Egg of Cook working title, and I thought, let's just not do one. Let's do, because it wants to reproduce. So when it reproduces, you're going to have a small one, which would be tiny, which will grow into a small, so we'll have 3 different stat blocks here. And that lets you tailor the challenge to the party a little bit. So type, and I'm largely thinking of these as kind of a, I don't know, omnivore, carnivore. But you always only encounter one. And the movement, I went with slow and very slow. It just doesn't seem like something that would move fast to me. Now, for slow movement for the tiny, 20 meters per turn. For the small, it's very slow at 15 meters per turn. And then medium is still very slow at 10 meters per turn. And then I went and carefully looked at all the tables, and I thought, this thing doesn't move. It's got a psychic attack. It's got a fume attack. It's not into movement. In fact, it's trying to charm and control beings to use them as part of its reproduction, to help facilitate its reproduction. So it doesn't really need high initiative, modifier, and reaction speed. So I went and I thought the biggest one's going to be the slowest moving. 435 is the slowest IM and reaction speed on the tables for the critters. And then I just started scaling it up a little bit. So 435, and then the small has a 440, and the tiny has a 540. The stamina, I just went with the standard stamina for these size creatures. 1 to 10, 10 to 20, and 20 to 100. No need to be creative. Just use the standard thing. Now, the attack, remember, it's a psychic attack. So I made the tiny one a weaker attack at 30. Smalls of 40 and mediums of 50. The damage is against your logic score and your intuition. So it's 1d2 logic, 1d2 intuition for the tiny, 1d5, and then 1d10 over here. Special attack is the fumes. And the fumes are 10 meters diameter, and it's a personality save. And I went with personality save. It could just as easily be a logic save. A lot of things are logic saves, or reaction speed, dexterity save, or stamina saves in the game. Not that many personality saves, but this fume attack is affecting who you are in your brain. So I thought personality is perfect. Besides, your logic and your intuition are dropping, so best not to be saving off of that. This gives the player characters a chance, fighting chance. They're using their personality. The problem is most players have used personality as their dump stat. So even though I'm giving you a fighting chance, kind of zinging it to you, because most players have already used personality as their dump stat. And so here you go. So you got a personality save per turn or lose all willpower and decision-making ability. Basically, you're stunned. Can't do anything. Special defense, acidic skin. Because we got that touch attack result. I thought, all right, I'll just turn that into its special defense. It's got acidic skin. And I wrote this up as T3/D3. I didn't go looking up toxins, but I know that in Star Frontiers, your toxins, your poisons kind of work this way, where you have a toxicity that's T3 would be how much damage per turn, and then duration would be how many turns. So I just wrote that up real quick in the classic style of Star Frontiers without looking anything up. So I went with T3 and D3, and then I went with T4 and D3, and then I went with T5 and D3. Note, I specified acidic. That means in the med kit, there is Slogel. And this item neutralizes acid. Or no, not, is it Slogel or acid neutralizer? Something in the med kit can be used to neutralize acid. But just grabbing your water pack, your 4-liter water pack, and hosing off your skin with enough water dilutes acid. And so either way, so there's a couple of ways of dealing with this for the players to be able to deal with it. And then native world, I listed unknown. I'm not setting it on any world. I'm listing it as unknown. So it's out there as potential energy for the game master to use it when they want to use it. Discovered a new world, or you've discovered a derelict spaceship and this thing's on it. You don't know where it came from. It's unknown. But this thing could be very, very dangerous, especially with this charming effect, this simulated charming effect. It's the psychic attack that when it drains you down to 0 logic and 0 intuition, it basically takes control of you. So the fumes puts you in a stun-like charm state, but then the psychic attack keeps happening, and it's using the fumes to hold you in place and then does the psychic attack. So it's a 2-stage turning you into a zombie. And it's that zombie effect, now that it's gained control of your brain through its psychic attack, that it begins to use you to go and get material to feed it so it grows. And then when it's ready to reproduce, and I just arbitrarily decided in my head that the tiny one can control one zombie, the small one can control 2 zombies, and the medium one can control 3 zombies. That basically it implants some of itself into the zombie and then sends the zombies out different directions so that they travel for a day and die, and then a new one grows out of their body because maybe it's poured reproductive juice down its throat and it's formed a ball in the stomach, and so when the zombie dies, and they decay, and this thing starts growing out of them or rips out, comes out, bursts out of them, chest burster style. Yeah, somehow the zombie is used to move the new seed away, and maybe the host dies, the mother dies, but these things keep spreading out and growing. So the original one dies, and then the other 3 are sent out in different directions. And I thought, all right, this is the news. It's kind of gross, and it's kind of scary and kind of different. I thought I might also make it susceptible to fire. Fire is a very good counter for it. Maybe not sonic swords. Hitting it with a sonic sword might cause splash of acid. So different things. I've not done a write-up, but I've done a nice stat block here for it. So this, I think, this Teratogenicon book definitely works for creating new critters. And I definitely think it's really great for Star Frontiers, because these are the tables in Star Frontiers. And so when we go to Star Frontiers and we're creating a new critter, we're herbivore, carnivore, omnivore, tiny, small, medium, large, giant. So these tables have kind of skewed a lot of us into creating just beast of the fields type critters, because you're all right. Do I want an omnivore? Do I want a carnivore? Do I want an herbivore? And so that's what you're picking from. And every once in a while, somebody gets cute and they'll go avian. But an avian is either an omnivore, a carnivore, or an herbivore. It's eating seeds, or it's eating other things. Or that somebody might get cheeky and go, it's an insectivore, which is still a carnivore. So, this type of a product will push you into thinking a little differently just because of the random results, and produce something that you wouldn't naturally produce by just going with the straight Star Frontiers creature creation tables here and creature creation process that are on pages 34, 35, and 36 of Star Frontiers Alpha Dawn rule set. So for my money, this product's awesome. Now, do you need to buy a POD like I did? I just have a thing where I like having PODs. I like having the physical book in my hands, my physical Star Frontiers rule books. More and more, my hypocrisy knows no bounds, because I more and more do PDFs for reviews. It's easier to just get the PDF and do the review. But I went ahead and bought it, but I'm looking at it going, it's not the kind of thing you need a physical book for. The PDF is enough. You'd have the PDF and you're doing some game prep. You need a new creature. You open the PDF, you roll some dice, you start working on a worksheet and writing down information, and all right, this doesn't work with this, but I like this, and you start kit bashing this creature. And the next thing you know, you've got a unique creature. And I really like this oily black ovoid thing that I've created this ooze monster that now I've created this for Star Frontiers. I just got to do a little write-up. I might as well submit that to the magazine. Maybe I'll get published. Oh, wait, I am the editor. I probably can get published. But so I'm liking this as an unknown creature. I'll probably put it in the Patreon newsletter, since I kind of want to have one critter per newsletter. But yeah, this type of a product is the type of product that will push you to think differently, because we get in these ruts and we all right, first level characters, we're going to have a fire beetle, some skeletons, and some goblins, or kobolds, if not goblins. And it's like, boring. Same old we've seen 20 times from 20 different characters we started at level 1. So this will push you to do something new, something a little more challenging, something a little bit out there. And why not? And it even works with a sci-fi game that is the furthest thing from D20. Well, it's not really the furthest thing from D20, but it's a D100 sci-fi game. And it still worked for that game. So Teratogenicon gets a definite 4 draw a sight thumbs up from me. And I think this is a very empowering Gamemaster aid, because number one, the players are not going to be bored. They're not going to know. They're going to be picking apart in their brain what's going on with this new creature. This is unlike anything we've encountered before, because it's unlike anything they've encountered before. You've completely reskinned a monster. You've completely created a new monster. So they've never seen this before. And you've done it fairly quickly with a few dice rolls, and then just thinking through, how do I put all these things together into one cohesive whole? And next thing you know, you've got unique creations to challenge your players. And so I recommend to get this as a PDF, unless you're like really, really, really committed to hard copies. It's not something that you absolutely need as a hard copy. I think it works very well as a PDF. I just happen to have, splurged. So this is Tom for Tabletop Tap Room signing out. Thanks for watching my video. Thanks to my subscriber. Don't forget that like and bell icon, subscribe, bell icon, and check out Teratogenicon on drive-through. Honestly, the PDF is probably all you need. It'll just be something you open up when you need it. But certainly check it out, unless you just got to have a POD. If you got to have a POD, you got to have a POD. But excellent Gamemaster empowering product in a day and age when Game Masters are being disempowered and sidelined. And I say, hell no. We have the right to pursue unique creatures and to rewrite stat blocks and creatures in the game. So game on, and check out Teratogenicon from Eric Diaz. Excellent product. Link is in the show notes.